I have two today. This one is utterly ridiculous. And the other one, for once, I actually found something that I completely 100% wholeheartedly agree with. And she's right in everything that she says. And it's stuff that I tell people all the time. Preface, I'm not a relationship coach. I'm just a dude who's been through a lot of stuff. So there are certain things that, young people today coming up with TikTok, they hear this really terrible stuff that I've been sharing over this week, and then they take it and run with it for some strange reason. You'd think you'd talk to someone who really has some serious experience, or you go see a mental health professional, hopefully someone who has training in marriage counseling or relationship counseling. Uh, Most of the stuff you see on TikTok is complete and utter narcissistic garbage. It's woke garbage, period. And that's all it will ever be. Oh, you go, girl. You go, queen. You're not a queen. You have no peasants. You are the peasant because you're not the president, technically speaking, if you want to look at it in feudal terms. It's all of those types of people who bring trauma, lots of trauma, who have the highest amount of red flags that you could possibly have. You know what? It's not a flag, but it's red, and I'll wave it. When you see those red flags, unplug. And it's for your mental health that you do unplug from those types of people. Now, that's not to say that you have to completely cut people out of your life. No, you probably just don't need to be in a relationship with that person, but they may also be a great friend somehow in some way, or you do get rid of them. Everything is contextual and subjective, totally based on situational things. It's based on your boundaries, based on a lot of different factors. So this really toxic advice out there, which is, just instantly stop talking to everyone. That's why no one knows how to communicate today. And it's funny in a terrible way, because if you don't know how to talk to people, how do you grow? If everyone's so afraid to talk to each other and everything is this bullshit pseudo psychology power struggle, you're never going to get anywhere with anyone. And people will be able to see through you eventually. And if they can't, well, I feel sorry for that sucker. But when they do, it'll be on you. So don't play games with people. Keep dating simple. The old terminology, keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method, applies very well to relationships. Find out the things that you share in common. Learn each other's boundaries. Ask good questions. Have good, deep conversations with people. Get to actually know the person. It's not about how fast you can sleep with someone, like the players will tell you. And that goes on both sides of the fence. When you treat people like people, guess what? It either works or it doesn't, or you've made a friend. This bullshit red pill ideology, friend zone, this incel thinking, this manosphere stupidity. There is no friend zone. There are relationships, whether those are romantic relationships or platonic relationships or familial relationships. There is only relationships. The things you see and hear out there from the red pill sphere and everything else, they're just repression, regression, and stupidity. It's also hurt. A lot of the stuff in that world comes from hurt, and then absolutely terrible boundary issues from men who don't even really have boundaries, and some of them are overly religious and that gets me into another topic for another time. But without further ado, let's watch this first video and I'll break it down.
Never taken for granted all have one thing in common, and it is that they slightly scare the shit out of the men they date. Not because they're loud, aggressive, or rude, but because they don't play. The problem is that when a man disrespects you, most women think that holding him accountable means reacting emotionally, crying, yelling, demanding answers, because we've all heard, never allow someone to get comfortable with disrespecting you, and many interpret that as show him how much he has hurt you. But here's what no one tells you. Being emotional doesn't scare him. He actually prefers that. Why? When you're quick to anger, you're telling him 3 things. Number 1 is I'm important. You're stroking his ego because he thinks, wow, she's so emotional over me. 2 is that you're predictable. He knows exactly how to trigger a reaction. 3, you're easy.
Okay. On one hand, she's correct. But now you see, now she's flipping the script, turning it into manipulation. We want you to be vulnerable with us. That's one of the top 3 most important things you can do in dating and a relationship is to be vulnerable. Ask any therapist, ask any psychologist. They will all tell you vulnerability is pretty much up at the top. Vulnerability leads to compatibility. And that's not just some rhyme. That's a psychological relationship fact. But this idea that because you're emotional, we're suddenly thinking, oh, now we know how to push your buttons. Only a manipulator thinks that way. Only a narcissist, a socio, or just a general asshole thinks that way. And that goes for the women too. Y'all can be assholes. But that right there is the moment you should just start tuning out of this person, because she's incorrectly suggesting that we want to manipulate you. No, most of us just want to understand you. It's really that simple. If you don't understand each other, do you have common ground? No, you certainly do not.
Easy to manipulate because you let your emotions run the show. But the women that are never taken for granted, they're difficult to manipulate because they're emotionally disciplined. They don't argue for respect. They command it through how they move. And let me explain. High value is not...
Okay, there's your red flag right there. From men or women, when you hear anyone use the term high value, put the key in the ignition. Don't even wait for the car to warm up. Put that bitch in reverse and bust the fuck on out of there. Because that is you setting yourself up for someone who wants to fail with you. Everyone has value in their own way. There is no higher value than one person or another. That's a transactional term for destroying a relationship. You know what's high value? Having values, having interests, having boundaries, having emotional control. I won't deny that she's correct about that in a certain light. Knowing the talents and skills that you bring to a relationship. Those things, 5 simple things, are high value. It's got nothing to do with what you make. That's a preference. It has nothing to do with what kind of car you have or don't have. That's a preference. There's 2 people in a relationship or in dating. One or both can drive. It's not going to inconvenience anyone's lives. A lot of women out there think that way, unfortunately. He can press the gas pedal, or maybe he can't because he's visually impaired like me. Or maybe he can't drive for any other number of neurological reasons. The female has the ability to drive. Nothing should ever be completely one-sided. There's a give and take. And that's the truth.
Communicated through what you say. I have so many options. You do that again and I'm done. If high value is something that you declare.
That right there is so unbelievably horrible. If you do that again, I'm out of there. Really? So where's the communication aspect? That right there is so subjective. There's no context. No context whatsoever. And women use that, modern women use that shit as a scapegoat to just run away instead of knowing how to have a real relationship, which means you discuss things. You don't really put the fear in unless it is something that is absolutely up there on your boundary list that you have to say that. That could be, something super manipulative or emotionally or physically abusive. Those would be the top 3 things that you might jump into that to. But over any little disagreement or a misunderstanding or an uncommunicated boundary, because that's usually what it is, to just threaten that and tuck tail and run means you are not ready for a relationship, because we circle right back around to communication or lack thereof.
Then you would see commercials for Lamborghini, Cartier, and Chanel, but you don't, because high value is sub-communicated. It's in your behavior, your standards, your terms and conditions, and most importantly, through your willingness to walk away. And the moment your commitment to your standards and your future is stronger than your emotional attachments and your desire to be liked, that's when people are going to stop playing with you.
I get the relation she's trying to make here, but unfortunately, it doesn't quite work. Let's keep it to boundaries, because when we add terms and conditions, again, we make a relationship sound transactional. Relationships are not transactional. And I don't know where people get this idea that relationships are terms and conditions and that you're signing a contract. There is no contract to be signed. It's a choice to be with the person based on who you are, who they are, your shared interests, the respect that you have for both yourself and the other person. Respect is a two-way street. You have to respect him. He has to respect you. It also has to be based on the hobbies that you may or may not share together. You should have things that you can do separately from each other. Absolutely. That matters. We don't know who's playing with who. And there's a lot of things out there that are misconstrued because, again, people don't communicate properly. Unfortunately, it's an epidemic of failure to communicate. That's what really crushes relationships in the long run. And it's not, I don't want to say fair, for lack of a better word. It's not appropriate to make assumptions because something has or has not been said, has or has not been done in a way that you think it needs to be. You have to communicate. I will say you must communicate. Without that, there is nothing. There are no terms and conditions. And yes, you could leave someone at any time for any reason. However, without closure, that still hurts people. If someone doesn't know what they've done and you can help them grow as a person, you have the right and the necessity to do that for that person. Because while things may not have worked out between both of you, what you tell them and how, I stress, how you tell them can set them up for a better future. You're not perfect. They're not perfect. So any positive feedback that you get or constructive criticism, not anger, explosive, emotional, well, you could, no. This is what happened. This is how it made me feel. This is what you can do next time. So if it happens with someone else, you can think and stop. That's really what you should be doing with people. If you can't grow or you can't help someone else grow, then why should you be out here telling people all this kind of stuff? It's not a fair comparison because you're not a brand. Sorry, but people trying to compare individuals to being brands and being businesses and all this kind of stuff, it's incongruent with the message. A lot of people say that a relationship is marketing yourself. Not really. A relationship is based on personalities and how well they mesh, and standards and interests and how well they do or don't combine. All right, let's move on to the second one.
Please stop sending one of these fucking text messages to somebody that you are newly and recently dating. I have friends that tell me about this shit all the time, and I just don't understand why you would send this via text. First off, if you are having issues, if you are feeling someone pull away, if you are feeling like there is something off, please do not send a text message to somebody, especially that like it's new and it's in the early stages of a, what are we? Are you mad at me? Are we okay? Anything like that. If you're having an issue with somebody, be a grown ass fucking adult and call them. Have a conversation with them. If you want open and honest communication and intimacy and dialogue, you have to have face-to-face conversations, or at least on the phone. So if you're going to talk about something serious like, hey, are you mad at me? Is there something wrong? Are we good? What's going on? Anything like that, just ask them, hey, do you have a minute? Can I call you? Or can you give me a buzz when you have some time? I just want to ask you something. Don't make it so serious, but have the conversation like a fucking adult.
I love this woman's message. She is 100% correct in everything that she's saying, and it mirrors my own belief systems. This idea that you have to have text game or do everything through text. No. Text is easily and purposely misconstrued. Pick up the phone. Pick up your phone. You know, it has some holes in it. Has a hole here and a hole down here. Hey, is there something I wanted to ask you? You know, I'm noticing this behavior change. What does that mean? Like, are we okay? Is there something bothering you that you'd like to talk about? Wow, that's what the phone's for. It's what it was for in, you know, the past 50 years before cell phones existed. I mean, seriously, you had to pick up the phone. And guess what? When we didn't have phones, you had to walk to their house or drive to their house. And then before that, you had to send snail mail. Come on now. But let's let this wonderful person continue what she's saying.
Secondly, if you are every single day texting this person first, every single day, good morning, how are you, what's going on, constantly doing the check-ins, where are you, what are you up to, what's going on, when am I going to see you? You gotta read between the lines here. You gotta also let someone chase you a little bit. I'm not talking about a game. Nobody is saying that. But for me personally, in the first 3 to 4 weeks, like I very rarely will text a guy first, just because like I'm giving a little bit of breathing space in there. I'm giving a little bit of mystery. Like I'm also super fucking busy. I've got 1,000 other things going on. The last thing I need is to check my phone 1,000 times or to constantly check in with somebody. Of course, if I want to send someone a message, I'm going to do it. I don't believe in playing that game, but I do believe in living your own life and doing your own thing and not constantly being the first person, because at that point you're leaving no mystery, you're leaving no excitement. It's just, it almost becomes a chore every single solitary day if someone's constantly texting you, especially like in the first couple of weeks.
Okay. I have no real problems with that. I don't like using the word mystery. I think that's, you know, overblown bullshit and falls along the lines of unethical marketing. It's called I'm living my life. Okay. Now, that's our preference not to text, but that doesn't mean don't do it. Don't ever say good morning. Hey, how's your day going? How's your day going? It doesn't mean any of that stuff. But her core message there is spot on. She's living her life. You're living your life. It's like I've spoken about thousands and thousands of times. Okay, I'm probably exaggerating there, but you get my drift. One of my core things in life is, hey, we both have separate lives and we come together. We choose to make that time to come together. And that's really what a relationship is. You make the choice to meld together. You make the time, you carve out the time, no matter how busy you are. You make time for that person. And they, in turn, should be making time for you. And if they're not, and they're playing these stupid bullshit games, well, that's when you call out the game. And then you don't even need to give an ultimatum. It's either I'm in or I'm out. Hey, I don't like this. This doesn't work well with who I am. And I don't appreciate that you're playing these games with me. So, you know, thanks for trying. We can be friends instead. If not, that's totally cool. It's that simple.
And lastly, Do not send a passive-aggressive text message
Never.
if you're feeling any kind of way. Again, all kind of stems right back to the first thing I said. Be a grown-ass adult, pick up the fucking phone, and stop texting people things that are a phone call or in-person conversation. I'm
That's
kind
right.
of just going to reiterate the first thing because it's constantly all my friends send me screenshots, and it's almost infuriating to see some of the things they think are appropriate to talk via text. Moral of the story, be a grown-ass adult and pick up the phone.
Absolutely. Pick up the phone. It's really that simple.
You 1,000 other
So, I mean, there is nothing here that I inherently disagree with. Maybe some language tweaks, but that's it. She's on the money, guys, gals. This is someone that you should actually consider listening to. And it's wonderful to see that there are other people out there who have similar values and actually have something good to say out here. Because in this toxic forest of relationship and dating advice, it's a breath of fresh air. You know, Emily King, she's awesome. And then Elise Michaels, that's another one. But this woman, she got figured out too. She knows how to do things right. And, you know, I just don't understand why it has to be so hard. It's all ego games. That's all it really is. Power struggles, ego games, stupid bullshit that no one needs, that no one asked for, that adds extra stress onto people's lives. And people don't need that kind of stress. No one needs that kind of stress. So keep it simple. Once again, shared interest, values, hobbies that you can do together or alone. Ask the deeper questions. Actually get to know the person. Don't handle things over stupid text messages. Pick up the phone and talk. Go out and eat and talk, or go sit at the park and talk in a car. Have a conversation face to face. The reason people use text message is because they're afraid. That's it. They're afraid. You shouldn't fear talking to your partner or whoever you're dating. I really don't even like using the term partner, your boyfriend or your girlfriend. That's some stupid liberal shit that clogged up the dating waves. Oh, well, if you say your boyfriend or girlfriend, that means that's like teenager. No, jackass, it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend. So I digress. It's really that simple. Now, complexity comes at the later stages when you're moving in and getting to know each other and really meshing those different living styles. But that's a whole nother story for another time. But this is someone who knows what she's talking about, has a great head on her shoulders, and I love her message. Everyone should love her message. See? At least 60,000 people figured it out. And she can also snag a follow because I love what she had to say. So that is it